Floodwaters typically help suppress weeds in conventional rice. When farmers shift to furrow-irrigated or row rice, more herbicides may be needed. Arkansas Extension Specialist Tommy Butts discussed some approaches during the Arkansas Rice and Soybean Online Field Day.
Now for this plot specifically, this is one of our cleanest plots we have out here, and this followed a lot of those rules that I just talked about. So our initial application in this was a pre-emergence application of Command plus Sharpen. That gives us grass control as well as some broadleaf residual control and a little bit of flat sedge residual control with the Sharpen. Now Facet may also be a good option, or at least quinclorac, to mix into that pre as well. I really like moving that quinclorac product up as a residual, especially right on the front end. And that Facet or quinclorac part can give us a lot of good activity on flat sedge grasses as well. So it's just kind of a good broad spectrum herbicide to maybe throw in as well. What we did for our second application in this was we followed it up at about 14 days later, and that's really critical. That 14-day timing is critical. And at that point we added in a post-emergence product to kill any grass that was up, but also added residual to overlap. And so that second application, we actually had a shot of Preface plus Command again. So we could overlap our Command residual. We got a little bit more residual from Preface, but we also got some post activity from that as well. Oh, and excuse me too, I also forgot in that second application, we had Gambit in as well. And so we had the post-emergence activity of Gambit on our sedges. We also get a little bit of residual from that on sedges, and it takes out our coffee bean and broadleaves. So again, that second shot we have Preface, Gambit, and another overlapping shot of Command. That got us to our third application, which was basically then another 14, 21 days later after that, getting to that 4 to 5 leaf, close to pre-flood timing. And at that application, in this plot here, we added a second shot of Preface and followed it up with another shot of a broadleaf material. In this case, it was AIM, but you really could implement numerous different options there, such as if you haven't used Gambit earlier, you could use Gambit now. You could also use something like Ultra Blazer for a broadleaf material, or you could go towards Loyant, and Loyant is really good for a lot of different broadleaf materials as well. Now in this trial here, I don't have a lot of Palmer Amaranth population, but if you have a bad Palmer population, which we normally do in our row rice acres, you're definitely going to want to be able to use Loyant at some point in your application process, your 3 applications there, and you may want to think about Grandstand and Propanil as well. My typical recommendation is that I like to see Grandstand and Propanil up in like that second herbicide application when our pigweeds may still be small. The burning action of Propanil is very, very good to kill small pigweeds, and if nothing else, it'll burn some bigger ones back and give you more time for that loin application. And then when you come back in for your loin application about that third timing, you know, if they're about 6 to 8 inches or less, we can drop our rate of loin down to 8 ounces and still be very successful at managing that Palmer Amaranth population.